The NFL draft is less than 2 months away, and it is mock draft season. On Monday, we did a mock with the first 10 picks, and having done those 10 picks, 11 through 20 would follow, and eventually 21 through 32 as well. As you can see by the title of today's video, we are doing picks 11 through 20. Now, picks 1 through 10 will be shown on the screen, and before we get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as each only take a second to do, and it would be very much appreciated. Now let's begin. And we start today's video with the Giants at pick 11. There are a lot of ways the Giants could go here, from selecting Jalen Waddle from Alabama, to Micah Parsons on defense, to Kyle Pitts on offense. And I don't think they will, but I at least want to throw this out here, and that is tackle. Nate Solder is expected and intends to play in 2021 after sitting out the 2020 season due to COVID, but how he'll come back is a mystery and a bit of an unknown at this time. So if the board plays out like this, with Rashawn Slater still there or Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech, if they would for some reason prefer him, because you never know in the draft what teams may or may not do, like Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, they could very well go this route. But with a player like Micah Parsons on the board and where they are selecting, I don't think they pass this defensive talent up, given they held their ground and had him fall into their laps. Parsons is a great prospect and should translate effortlessly to the NFL. The Giants missed out on Chase Young because of a 2019 Week 16 win over Washington, but they have the opportunity in this mock to not miss out on another great defensive prospect. This selection would fill a gap for the next decade, and Micah Parsons would be a great player on Joe Judge's defense. And the reason for this selection over Pitts, Waddle, or anyone else is how deep this class is at receiver. Pitts is an elite prospect and will soon be off the board, but I don't think the Giants would take him over Micah Parsons, given how deep this class is with offensive weapons. So no disrespect to Kyle Pitts, because he will be a first round pick, as you'll see soon, but I do think Micah comes off the board here at 11. 12 is San Francisco, and this is a tricky one to project because of all of the what ifs that go into this draft pick. Could they trade way up to get Kyle's quarterback of the future? Could they go best player available and call it a day? Or could they go offensive line with tackle Trent Williams being 33 years old at the start of next season? With Rashawn Slater still on the board, the tackle from Northwestern, that is what we have them doing in today's mock, as even though Trent was a Pro Bowler this past year, at some point he will fall off, as everyone does, and that is unfortunately a part of the game. Getting this type of talent at 12 overall will show why the 49ers are one of the most well-run organizations in football, as they are going to get one of the top players in this class for a steal and for a fraction of the cost. 13 is the Chargers, and they are in a unique position because they have quarterback Justin Herbert on a rookie deal, and they have a defense with a lot of good players. The thing with them though is, and I feel like this has been said every year for the past few decades with them, is health. If they can stay healthy, they will be a good team, and I don't think it's a stretch to say they can compete with the Chiefs if they are healthy. Now notice I said compete as in hang with them, not necessarily go into Arrowhead and beat them, because I am not saying that. But with Hunter Henry potentially leaving this year and an absolute offensive weapon in Kyle Pitts falling into their laps at 13, this is where we have him going in today's mock. I do think if he started to skip past the 7 to 8 range, teams would start to trade up for him, but no trades into this mock, and we have LA taking him. Herbert to Pitts for the next 8 years would cause fear in opposing defenses, and it is something I hope we see become a reality. Pitts is an offensive weapon, and placing him with one of the game's brightest stars is a potent combo for both Kyle and Justin's future. 14 is the Minnesota Vikings, and they have a need at pass rusher and defense after a tumultuous 2020 season on that side of the ball. Micah Parsons is gone, and although Christian Darrisaw is there for the offensive line, remember Minnesota took tackle Ezra Cleveland last year, and there were spurts of play he had in 2020 where he looked good and looked like a future starter. They could 100% go Darrisaw here, don't get me wrong, but with pass rush being as depleted as it is and as it was this past year, and with Gregory Rousseau on the board, I expect them to take him here. Kwity Paye wouldn't be a bad selection either, but with a player in Rousseau whose ceiling is very high and a player he could certainly learn from in Danielle Hunter on the other side, this selection makes a lot of sense. The Vikings defensive line coach Andre Patterson is one of the best in the business, and with some of the concerns with Rousseau, like a slow burst off the line and that he doesn't have great acceleration, this is a trait that is coachable and could certainly be taught, and Rousseau and Danielle Hunter would be a deadly pass rushing duo. Now, taking a look at the past 4 picks, there is a lot of ways New England can go here at 15. I really hope they don't force Mac Jones in this spot, as it wouldn't be good given what he would be walking into. They don't have good weapons, and Mac would be going from Alabama, from where he had everything at his disposal, from a good offensive line, from Najee to Devontae to Jalen Waddle to John Mechie to nothing. And the receiving core he had at Alabama, if he were to go to New England here, would have been better than his first year as a professional, and that is without a doubt. So with that being said, and with Jalen Waddle still on the board, we have Jalen going to New England here at 15 overall. This is a player who will help out this team immediately and become a good receiver over time if they have a decent quarterback throwing in the ball. Damiere Byrd, no disrespect, should not be a team's #1 receiver, and although the Pats could go a different position here, Waddle is the best player left on the board, and this is the direction we have them going in today's mock draft. 16 is the Arizona Cardinals, and with the franchise quarterback they have in Kyler Murray, yes, I am calling him that, what must they do for the benefit of their franchise? They have to keep him healthy and upright, and yes, Kyler does run a good bit, but rarely do you see him take shot after shot after shot. But with that being said, and in a division with players like Nick Bosa, Aaron Donald, Javon Kinlaw to a lesser extent, you get what I'm saying and where I'm going with this. They have to beef up the offensive line and go offensive tackle, and Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech is the pick here. He is the best tackle prospect left on the board, and this is a team that could have a great situation here, with having two of the highest paid positions in all of football in quarterback and tackle on a rookie contract for the next few years. Now, as we know, they recently signed JJ Watt, but they still have a few years before a Kyler contract extension would kick in. Darrisaw would be tested early and often in this division, and keeping Kyler healthy will be the key to them winning a championship if that indeed does happen. Darrisaw to the Cards at 16. 17 is the Raiders, and the selection here is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He has phenomenal athleticism, can man-to-man cover, and will be a good NFL linebacker. The Raiders taking Owusu-Koramoah is key, because they will have to go against Patrick and Justin for the next 10 years, and they need not necessarily a kryptonite to those guys, because I'm honestly not sure one exists, at least not in one player specifically, but a guy who can at least limit opposing tight ends like Travis Kelce, potentially Kyle Pitts, and perhaps the best part for Jeremiah, in this scenario, he would go against a player like Darren Waller every day in practice. In terms of fit from player to team and what they could do to help each other out, I absolutely love Owusu-Koramoah to the Raiders. For what it's worth, I also love him to the Broncos, but the value at 9 is not necessarily there for Denver. Placing him in the AFC West is a dream fit, as he will be tested without a doubt, and if all things work out, hopefully he succeeds too. He has the speed to be able to hang with all tight ends and can, over the course of time, limit Travis Kelce when these teams play. For the Raiders and their goal of winning a Super Bowl, you ask the question, how does that happen and how do they get there? Well, they have to start by stopping the Chiefs, or at least be able to beat them, which I know is difficult, don't get me wrong, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is the start of that. 18 is Kwity Paye to the Dolphins for a few reasons. The Dolphins could very well use this pick on Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, depending which one they like more, but remember, this is also a pre-free agency mock, and Aaron Jones or anyone else could end up in Miami. In addition to that, I firmly believe pass rush will be overdrafted this year, and not to say Kwity at 18 is overdrafting, because it's not, but with how the Super Bowl went, teams will do what they can to try and build a dominant pass rush, as at the end of the day, pass rush does trump all. Kwity would be a great addition to the Dolphins, and with Josh Allen being the quarterback of the future in that division, and possibly having to also deal with Zach Wilson for the foreseeable future, pass rush is the key to limiting those guys, and Jamar Chase and Kwity Paye would be a great first round in the 2021 draft for the Miami Dolphins. Now we have pick 19, and this may be a controversial one because it is Mac Jones from Alabama. Now, earlier in the video, I said Mac to New England would be a bust waiting to happen, and while I do believe that, him to Washington will not be, at least immediately, if he turns out to be one, for a few reasons. Washington's defense will always keep them in games, which in turns takes immense pressure off of Mac to constantly perform, and to have to put up numbers like Justin Herbert did in his rookie year, for example. Mac would also have Antonio Gibson to hand the ball off to, and Terry McLaurin to throw the ball to. He's went against an Alabama defense in practice every day for a few years now, even when he backed up Tua, so his decision making should only get faster from here on out. Now, I'm not the biggest Mac fan, don't get me wrong, but I do love the possibility of him going to the football team. To be clear, I just don't like the fit of him or any other rookie quarterback, Trevor included, going to New England because of the weapons, or should I say lack of. But this fit in Washington for Mac is great, and I hope they get him at 19 and they don't have to mortgage a future to trade up to get him to try and ensure no one else does. And the final pick for today's video goes to the Bears at 20th overall. Chicago is on the clock, and to start this off, I don't think they're going to go with a quarterback. Having said that, Allen Robinson is a free agent, and whether they get him back or not is to be determined, and we will know that in a couple weeks. Now, I would assume they'll do everything in their power to do so, but Allen is not a one-man show, and they need another receiver. Lucky for them, Rashad Bateman from the University of Minnesota is available, and that is who we have them taking in today's video. Rashad is going to be a dominant NFL receiver, and he is one of my favorite players in the entire 2021 class. There will probably be a film breakdown on him at some point, but Bateman will be a great NFL receiver and should be a first-round pick. Him and Robinson will be a great duo, and it will definitely rival another NFC North duo, that of course being Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And if he is a first-round pick and Chicago makes him their number one guy, then they definitely will not be disappointed with a return on that investment. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 23,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that support. Until next time, have a great day. Love you guys. Deuces. Peace.